podcast. I am your host, Smoke the Conqueror. And this show in particular is the WWE Clash of the Castle 2022 from Cardiff, Wales. Very lively crowd. They were very loud, very energetic, very in your face, very European, very UK, all night long. Even from the very start, very first match with Bailey and Io and Dakota Kai versus Bianca and I forget who else. I'll take a look here at that here in a second. But before we get off into the show, I just want to talk a little bit about the power shift in the world of the WWE and the IWC as a whole. So, Vince McMahon is out of power. Triple H takes over. Good. But WWE could be even better if the man that is in charge, Triple H, could get out of his own way. So there's this thing going around that, WWE is the greatest now and Triple H is perfect and every show that he's put on is perfect and the main roster for WWE is just perfect now. It's just nothing's wrong with it at all, which is just couldn't be further from the truth. Couldn't be further from the fucking truth. But I do believe that WWE is getting better. It's not perfect. Triple H is not perfect. And I don't give a damn what the Triple H fanboys got to say about it. And I'll leave that up for you to decide who, because to me, it's just, that's a blanket statement at this point. There's a bunch of them. So let's talk about that narrative of Triple H is perfect. Nothing is wrong. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to make another video for that. I think I'm going to make a whole separate, entire, different video for that specific topic. But I do think that this narrative that's going around is a false narrative. And quite frankly, I'm not even sure if it's being shaped and molded by actual humans. And I think just humans are adopting it. Because it has been proven, by the way, and even Tony Khan has brought this up about the WWE, how they spend millions of dollars on social media presence. This is not a fake thing at all. And by the way, Twitter, experts are saying that Twitter is ran, or let me rephrase that. 8 to 10 people that you encounter on Twitter are bots. Okay, and that's not from me. That's from experts that are investigating the whole situation with Twitter and Elon Musk and yada. So, quite frankly, it's not a secret that corporations, celebrities, you name it, go and hire people to run bot farms. I mean, they do this shit. WWE has released finances about this particular thing. Okay, and it's in the millions that they spend. So this is not something I pulled out of my ass. This is not something Tony Khan pulled out of his ass. This is something that exists. Okay, so people go online and they make these little fake narratives, and I think a lot of them are bots, just straight up fake people, WWE employees, WWE super stans, people that got no fucking lives and need to go touch grass, that type of thing. So that's that. But I will say that the show is decent, but in my opinion, it was a little anticlimactic and a little underwhelming. One of the bigger narratives that's going on about this show and the model of WWE is the amount of time, I guess you'd say, the runtime for the shows. Okay. AEW is getting a lot of flack about the runtime of their shows right now. A lot of people are saying that it's too long, that they shouldn't be having, 4, 5, 6 hour events, this and that. And generally, I agree. But the problem is these people are comparing a 3-year-old company who only has 3 hours of TV time each week to a 50-year-old company who has 7 to 8 plus hours of fucking TV time. I don't even know how much they have, but I know it's a whole lot more than AEW. So that's part of the problem with all these narratives between AEW and WWE is they're comparing apples to oranges. They're comparing, a full-grown adult to a literal baby, a literal child. So I don't know. It's just kind of ridiculous. So the time link, in my opinion, and not even just in my opinion, subjectively, is fine for WWE. This link for this show that they had today was fine for WWE. Now, what a lot of people were saying is this, well, AEW is about to have a long show tomorrow. See, this is doing it right, and that's doing it wrong. Listen, dude, you guys complain about how people don't get enough how don't get on TV enough, and they don't use everybody, and people are getting buried, and people's feelings are getting hurt. They want releases, and my mental health. My mental health is so bad. I need to be released so I can go wrestle for Triple H. I see you, bro. That's. I mean, I'm not trying to be insensitive to anything anybody's dealing with, but come on, man. That's got to be some of the more underhanded, slimy ways of trying to get out of a contract. Oh, my mental health is bad. Let me out of my contract. Just as soon as this guy's taking over and everybody knows that you're one of his guys, and just that's another video I want to make, is about the ungratefulness, quite frankly, of a lot of these wrestlers and a lot of these fans. The ungratefulness, the fickleness, I don't even know if that's a word, fickleness, but the fans and how fickle they are. Not just the fans, but the wrestlers themselves. I mean, people just, man, they change whichever way the wind blows, man. I mean, I'm not saying that, you can't have nuance and you can't and you shouldn't, criticize people for what they do on a day-to-day basis, but my goodness, one dude steps down, another takes over, and it's like everything just went the other way. Everybody loved AEW, and now all of a sudden AEW is the worst shit ever, and Tony Khan's and this and that and that. The dude's got his problems, and don't trust me, you'll hear plenty about that. And I mean, I'm gonna make so many people cry about my opinions on Tony Khan, but I'm not talking about Tony Khan right now. I'm gonna talk about Tony Khan tomorrow, after All Out, if I can. So the link is fine for WWE, but you can't compare them to AEW. You just can't. You can't have it both ways, guys. You can't sit here and say, oh, my favorite isn't getting enough time. Oh, but their pay-per-views are too long. They only have 4 or 5 of these every year. So what do you want? What is it you want them to do? Seriously. I think what it is just you podcasters and you streamers are just upset because you're going to have to stay up later and work a little harder. Well, cry me a fucking river, darling. I don't care. All right? You guys need to make up your minds on your narratives and your opinions, because a lot of this shit just doesn't jive and make sense. Hell, I probably won't jive and make sense a lot of the time. But that's okay. I'm just saying. Keep it consistent. All I ask for is consistency with your arguments and everything that you say. So, and that's the other thing. You want them to do shorter shows, but they already have too much talent. And that's one of the other things that Tony Khan needs to work on. He needs to work on focusing on the talent he already has, as opposed to going and signing new talent like Big Cass or William Morrissey or whatever he's calling himself now. Okay. If anything, man, you should be trimming the roster. Okay. You shouldn't be going and bloating your roster more when you already got enough guys and you got people asking for their releases. It's ridiculous. So But anyway, another topic for another day. Um. And here's my last point about that. If you don't like the length of the AEW shows, then what you should do is if the length of the AEW shows bother you so much, just don't watch it and just continue watching 3 hours of Raw every week. Okay? You have no problem watching 3 hours of fucking Raw every goddamn week because you're conditioned. Okay, Vince McMahon got you under his fucking mental psychosis to get you to and he trained you to fucking tune in for 3 hours every Monday. Okay, I don't watch Raw every fucking Monday, so I watch it every now and then. I don't watch it every fucking Monday. And that's why you'll probably never see, I mean, you might end up seeing it one day. I might end up doing it. But chances are you will probably never see a weekly Monday Night Raw review from me. You'll probably never see that. You'll probably just see, comments about it here and there. But my thing is this. If you're going to complain about getting more of AEW, but then not limit your intake of WWE every fucking week, then to me, your it whines hollow to me. Your whining whines hollow. I don't really care what you're whining about. You motherfuckers whine about something every fucking day. Something new every day. You know what I'm saying? You guys could find something wrong with the goddamn Mona Lisa. You say, oh, this brushstroke is slightly out of frame. Just fuck off. All right? Not saying you shouldn't call people out for bullshit, but come on, guys. You're fucking nitpicking at that point. If you drink some fucking coffee or something. Oh, and no, I don't want Cody to beat Roman Reigns. Okay, so that's my opening little diatribe. That's a good little 12-minute rant there. 12-minute intro rant. Not bad for a test run first show. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the actual show. The show opens up, like I said, has a video package focused on the country of Wales. A lot of B-roll over the Welsh countryside. Castles. Ancient castle setups and countryside and modern buildings. Houses and such. By the way, shout out to my homeboy Gary in Scotland. I fuck with Gary. We love the UK. Let's see here. The very first match featuring Bianca Belair, the WWE Raw's Women's Champion, alongside Alexa Bliss and Asuka, versus the homegirl Bayley, the returning Bayley. Glad to see her back. Dakota Kai and the lovely Io Sky, formerly known as Io Shirai. That's another thing that drives me nuts about WWE is all the name changing and all the unnecessary bullshit. And this one doesn't bother me as much. It's not that bad. It's simple. It's similar to her actual name. Not a big deal. I'm not too upset about that. There are other names, in my opinion, though, that need to be changed back to their initial names from NXT and quickly. I don't think they ever will, but they should. And they should have done it tonight. They didn't do it tonight, so I'm kind of under the impression they're just not going to do it. Which is another thing that puts another damper on and all the hip-hop parade and hooray for fucking Triple H parade. I'm sorry, I'm going to be a rain cloud about the shit, and you're going to fucking like it. So, anyway. 6-woman match, 3-on-3. Starts with Bayley and Bianca. The fans of Wales out there in the crowd started doing their whole Bailey, will you be my girl? Hey, hey, hey. You know, that whole thing. I know it was a thing in NXT and all this and that, but I'm not really sure why or what that is. It sounds like it's the melody of a song that already exists, but I can't quite put my finger on it, and I can't figure out, and I don't really know why this even became a thing. So if anybody out there that's watching this wants to let me know what the hell that's all about, I would love to know. It's a very catchy thing, though. Hey, don't get me wrong. You UK guys, man, you guys are very creative and very melodic, and you know I know that comes from your soccer, football, you know, culture and whatnot. But very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. Very, very more lively and a lot more together than we are here in America. You know, here in America, we're too busy chanting for both of the fucking wrestlers. We're never on the same page. You know what I mean? So it's kind of refreshing to see you guys, you know, have some cohesiveness. It reminds me of the old days when the fans were actually on the same page and booed and cheered together synonymously. Not in total, you know, it's not a complete hive mind, but you get what I'm saying. So the match broke down with all 6 women entering the ring, getting each other's face, and working together to do a triple suplex in the center of the ring. Bliss and Sky are the legal women. Michael Cole spoke. He brought up how Sky and Asuka used to be in a faction along with another girl. I forgot her name. Somebody wants to tell me, go ahead. And how they used to be a faction while wrestling in Japan. So this is another one of those minor changes that's happened under Triple H, and it's one of the better things that I enjoy about his booking. Is that he is willing to acknowledge work that existed before WWE. Now, the interesting thing, and I don't really remember if they've done it or not with Cody, but it'll be interesting to see if and when some of these AEW people go over there, if they will mention their time with AEW and the contributions that they've made to AEW. Or are they going to refer to AEW like they refer to TNA, Impact, and the term they like to refer to them with is obscurity. Well, I wouldn't quite call fucking AEW obscurity. So that's another one of their fucking hangups. Even Triple H is in on that. So whatever. But anyway, as the match goes on, Bayley was tagged in. The fans cheered. Asuka became the legal woman, went toe to toe with Bayley. Fast forward a little bit. Eventually, to come to the finish, Bianca was taken out by Bayley and Dakota. Bliss re-entered the match. Bayley delivered her signature belly to belly, whatever. Bayley and Io Sky worked together in an attempt to finish off Asuka, but Belair was eventually tagged in for the hot tag, and the pace picked up, which resulted in Bliss and Asuka delivering a superplex to Bayley from the top, using Belair's back as a platform in the corner. Belair used her strength to lift Dakota Kai in the air. As Belair hits a powerbomb, Kai then turned the tables by connecting with what she calls a scorpion kick, and Bayley and Sky took the advantage. They ended up doing like a series of moves. Bayley did what they call it, a rose plant. I'm pretty sure that move used to be called something else. I could be wrong, but the rose plant, and then Io Sky hit her with her what's it called? Genius of the Sky, I think it was what that move's called. Hits her signature move from the top rope in the corner, and Bayley, as the legal woman, gets the pin on the WWE Women's Champion, which is pretty interesting, you know, because considering any time a WWE champion gets pinned, people like to cry about it, but I haven't quite seen the outrage on this. This might be one of those things where it only applies to AEW now. I don't know. There's a lot of double standards and a lot of false narratives being made now. And it seems like these rules that people used to abide by now only apply to AEW now. So it'll be interesting to see. So they showed Tyson Fury in the crowd. They also showed him backstage in a couple of segments, and he was shaking hands with Drew McIntyre. Later on the night, he was shown talking with Roman Reigns. He also gets involved later on in the Roman Reigns match at the end of the night. They also showed Bret Hart and the family of the British Bulldog out in the crowd as well. So that was cool to see. A lot of history there, you know. Bret and the British Bulldog had a pretty high-profile match the last time WWE was in Britain. So good on them. So next was the Intercontinental Championship match between Sheamus, and he was accompanied by the Brawling Brutes, which I think is just one of the more ridiculous names and childish fucking names that they could have came up with, but that's neither here nor there. By the way, his name's not Butch, it's Pete Dunne. Can we get his fucking name back, please? Thank you. Please, St. Paul. How many Hail Marys must I do to get you to do what you need to do? So to start it off with, after the Brawling Brutes make their way to the ring, Ludwig Kaiser. That's not his fucking name. His name's not Ludwig Kaiser. His name is Marcel Bartel. Please change his name back. And he introduces Giovanni Vinci, former Fabian Eichner. Please change his name back. These names are so stupid. I'm sorry. It's just whatever. And so with this outcomes, Walter, change his fucking name back, please. Reforming Imperium, which I'm very, very happy about. I was just telling somebody the other night, they need to reform Imperium, and they need to give them their old names back. They need to give them their old fucking theme song back. This new shit that they got is fucking terrible. It's fucking terrible. This new guy, what's his name? Def Rebel? Is that his fucking name? He's fucking terrible. It's fucking terrible. Can't nobody with a straight face say that WWE has better theme music than AEW, okay? Nobody with a fucking straight face. I don't want to hear it. What was the former guy's name? Something dollar sign. I just remember something dollar sign. CFO dollar sign. That was his name. Amazing. He had great themes. Great fucking themes. The shit that he made for the guys in NXT, beautiful. It was just fucking beautiful. It's been shit ever since they got rid of him. I'm not going to go over this match too much. Listen, it was a hard-hitting match, and, you know, to me, it was just a typical Walter match. This is the shit Walter does. This is the shit Sheamus does. It's hard-hitting, slaps, hits, slams, win. Okay? That's just... Gunther wins. Change his fucking name back, please. That's all I ask. Just fucking change his goddamn name back. Liv Morgan versus Shayna Baszler. Liv Morgan ended up coming out on top. I did not think that was going to happen. I was actually very surprised that happened. I was pretty much certain that Shayna Baszler was going to become the new women's champion on SmackDown, and basically we were going to see the NXT Shayna Baszler, but that was not the case. Good for Liv Morgan. I like Liv Morgan. I think she's very attractive. I think she's decent in the ring. I just don't know that this current incarnation and this current run that she's having is doing anything for her. But she's a good girl. I hope the best for her, to be honest. Next, we got the Judgment Day versus Edge and Rey Mysterio. I just want to say that Rhea Ripley, you are a bad motherfucker. You are a bad girl. I have a pseudo crush on Rhea Ripley. I'm not gonna lie. She is. But this match was actually pretty good. I'll be honest with you. Damian Priest is looking better than I've ever seen him. Uh, he looks like he's gotten in better shape than he's ever been in. I mean, the guy just looks fucking phenomenal. I mean, he's a big man and he looks, jacked, and he looks like he's in shape and he's got his wind when he wrestles, he's just there, man. He's just in his prime right now as far as I mean, he might be a little bit on the older side, but I think he's doing really well right now. I really do. And I think he's gotten more comfortable on the microphone. I think he's found his character. I think he's found his cadence as far as speaking goes. I like his voice. He's got a really good, deep voice, really intimidating. I like it. I'm a big fan of Priest. I don't like his name per se. I actually prefer Punishment Martinez. That's a great fucking name. Damian Priest is kind of like I don't know. To me, it sounds like a generic fucking horror movie character or something. I don't know. It's just whatever. My only problem with Judgment Day is I didn't like them get rid of Edge and all that. It was just too soon. Didn't make much sense to me. And it's crazy because the only reason why he left is because he didn't want to do supernatural shit, and then they don't even do the supernatural shit. So much ado about nothing, much ado about nothing. But it was actually a pretty decent match. Edge and Mysterio actually made for a good tag team, in my opinion, man. They had some good chemistry in there, and the actual finish of it was actually a pretty cool little finish. How Mysterio set up Balor for the 619. Balor countered it. Dominik caught the boot of Balor, allowing for Mysterio and Edge to take the advantage. Edge landed the final blow by delivering a spear to win the match. So after the match, Dominik comes in there to celebrate with Edge and Mysterio, and playing on the tension and the resentment between Dominik and Edge from the past few weeks on Raw. Basically, Dominik goes ahead and goes with the heel turn and kicks Edge square in the balls, Pat McAfee style, right between the legs. Boom. Kicks him square in the nuts. And then, Rey, is like, what the fuck, mijo? What the fuck, mijo? I fucking told you. It's my friend. And he said, I don't give a fuck, Papa. I don't give a fuck. I'm a grown-ass man, dog. I'm a grown-ass man. Basically just fucking clothesline the shit out of Rey. Clothesline Rey out of his fucking boots, man. To be honest with you, he reminded me of a young Eddie Guerrero in that moment. He really did. He had the mullet looking haircut thing. I think he was doing it on purpose, to be honest. But he's just bigger than Rey, and I don't know, he just reminded me of Eddie. I'm not saying he is Eddie. He's not going to be Eddie, but he just reminded me of Eddie in that moment. He really did. I liked it. I liked the turn, but I like that he also did not join Judgment Day. I think he needs to be separate of that. I think he needs to be his own thing. He needs to channel Eddie Guerrero circa WCW 1996. When he was in that broody kind of asshole mood, right before he formed the LWL. I don't know if y'all remember all that shit, but it was good shit, man. Don't let these E-drones rewrite history and tell you WCW wasn't no good. They had some good shit, period. It wasn't the best, but it had some good shit. Some of the greatest of all time were there at that time. So it was announced that the attendance for tonight's show, or tonight, whatever, show was 62,296. Now, we all know that WWE lies about their numbers, but I got to be honest, I think it looked pretty fucking packed, and I'd say that number's probably close to accurate, if not accurate. So, good on them. Cardiff, UK, Wales, y'all showed up, showed out. Although I'm pretty sure everybody there wouldn't strictly from Wales. I saw, some Scottish flags out there, so I'm sure there was a big Scottish presence. Oh, and here's another thing that they, I guess, started to adopt, and that's how they're doing press conferences after the shows now, I guess. Interesting. Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle. Seth Rollins, I don't know what the fuck this clown was wearing tonight. I don't know if he was trying to channel like Elton John or some shit, but his fucking outfits get heat with me. I don't know. I love Rollins, man. To me, he's my favorite out of the Shield. But man, the guy is he dresses like a complete clown. Complete fucking clown. So again, Rollins and Riddle had a pretty good match. I thought they kind of didn't have the best chemistry at first, but then they started getting into it and match started taking off. I don't know if it was just because of how the match was booked at the beginning or whatever, but about midway through, they started getting into it and taking it off, and it was a pretty good match. I was kind of surprised to see Rollins just get the straight up win. I get what they were going for and everything, but I don't know. I kind of feel like they made Riddle look weak, but at the same time, Rollins needed to win. He needs to keep winning. He needs to keep looking strong, for lack of a better term. So then they go ahead and show the Tyson Fury Roman Reigns video package that I was referencing earlier. They also show Karrion Kross and Scarlett in the front row, and they also get involved later on. So next is the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match between Drew McIntyre and the Tribal Chief, head of the table, Roman Reigns. Before the match started, they played a little video vignette with the old school Drew McIntyre theme, the Chosen One Broken Dreams theme. Now, I used to listen to this damn song all the time, and the minute I heard it, I loved it, but I was slightly disappointed that he didn't actually come out to it. They just used it as like a transition to his, regular WWE theme. I wanted him to come out to it and do the whole thing, and I wanted to hear the whole song, and, but I guess that was asking for too much, And you better not complain. You better not complain, because then you'd be disrespecting Triple H. We can't have that. Fuck out of here. So, after this video played, Michael Cole reveals that the Usos and Sami Zayn were not cleared and were not going to be there that night. Also, Paul Heyman was not there as well. But Roman Reigns had something up his sleeve. Or should I say someone up his sleeve. So to begin the match, the fans were majorly, fucking majorly behind Drew McIntyre. He was the babyface. He was the hometown hero, as he should have been. That's one thing I appreciate about the UK crowd, and that's one thing I appreciated about today, was that they were on message and they were on the same page. And it made sense. Roman is a heel. He should not be getting face reactions. And Americans are just fickle and just stupid like that. And they're just going to, cheer for whoever the fuck they want to cheer for, regardless of, what the narrative is. So the fans were behind McIntyre. Reigns was not impressed with that and began to shake his head. I wouldn't say, it's not that he wasn't impressed with it. I'd say he probably disagreed with it, But hey, it is what it is. UK love their boys. So Reigns and McIntyre lock up, testing each other's strength, pushing back and forth. Typical locking of the bull horns. Reigns locked McIntyre in a headlock. McIntyre seemingly rattled Reigns with a power move. McIntyre backed Reigns into the corner and delivered a series of punches. The challenger sent Reigns out of the ring and followed it up by sending him into the steel steps. So as that happened and they were out there on the side of the ring, McIntyre is going to Reigns after he just threw him into the steps, and he's approaching him. And as he's approaching him, all you see is a water bottle come flying in from the other side of the camera angle, and it lands at Drew McIntyre's feet, and he's looking up like, "Motherfucker, you just throw a water bottle at me? What the fuck?" And at home we're sitting there thinking, and even on the announcing table, the announcing commentators, they even mentioned, I don't know if it was Graves or if it was Cole, oh, we can't be having that, fans throwing stuff, and then they pan the camera over and you see it's Karrion Kross standing up. He's the one that threw it. And he's like, "Oh, okay, I understand." He threw the bottle. So Karrion Kross throws the bottle. He stands up, glaring at McIntyre. McIntyre comes over. Reigns takes advantage of that, clobbers him over the head, and takes back control of the match. Back in the ring, Reigns sends McIntyre into the steel ring post. McIntyre managed to respond, but he ultimately met the big boot. Reigns requested a microphone as he continued his assault on McIntyre. Reigns told Cardiff to acknowledge it. As soon as he says that, he turns around and he runs into a Glasgow kiss from Drew McIntyre. After a series of blows in the middle of the ring, McIntyre began to build his momentum and managed to send Reigns off the top of the turnbuckle. Reigns and McIntyre continued to go back and forth. Reigns went for a Superman punch, missed. McIntyre landed a DDT. So I believe there was a total of 3 Superman punches. I could be wrong. This is just tip WWE booking. They, I don't know. This is really modern wrestling where they just hit each other with multiple finishers and multiple signatures. So I kind of quit counting after a while, but I believe it was 3. I know he hit him with 3 spears. I know he hit him with 3 spears to ultimately win the match. But after, I believe, the second Claymore that Drew McIntyre ended up hitting on Reigns, I actually thought the match was going to be over. I actually thought for a second that they were going to go ahead and take the title off, one of the titles off of Roman, and let Drew run with it and, send the crowd home happy. And in hindsight, that might have been what they should have done. Because what they ended up doing at the end of it, to me, was the anticlimactic part of it. And to me, didn't really send anybody home. It just made everybody fucking sing along after their hometown hero just took the L. So, but before we get to all that, after that second Claymore, Reigns connects with another spear for the second time. McIntyre kicks out of that. As soon as that happens, McIntyre landed another the second Claymore. I'm sorry, the first one was the first one. He lands another Claymore that sends Robinson crashing out of the ring. As soon as this happened, Austin Theory comes out with his Money in the Bank, acting like he's going to cash it in. And he tells the ref, "I want to cash it in," hands it to him. And as soon as he goes to hand it to him, Tyson Fury out of the crowd just rocks his shit. Just blah. Just cold cocks him. Knocks him the fuck out. As soon as that happens, we go back to the ring. Reigns went to use a steel chair. McIntyre connected with the Claymore, but Reigns kicked out of that at the last second. After a brief exchange in the middle of the ring, McIntyre landed a spear and then hit a Claymore. So I guess it was 3 Claymores. As soon as this third Claymore happened, Solo Sikoa, in a hoodie pulled over his head and concealing his identity, pulls the ref out and then ultimately reveals himself. As soon as this happens, McIntyre goes after him. He pulls McIntyre's neck down over the rope, whiplashes him. As soon as McIntyre turns around, Reigns is standing there, hits a spear to pin him. 1, 2, 3. That's your finish. Roman Reigns is still your undisputed WWE Universal Champion. As he should be. As he should be. After that, Tyson Fury gets in the ring, shakes hands with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns gets out, walks to the back. Fury stays in the ring with Drew McIntyre and has a conversation with him. And basically the two do a fucking sing-along and start singing a bunch of fucking shit I had no fucking clue about, except the Oasis. I knew one of the Oasis songs they were singing, the whatever. So anyway, so that was the end of that to try and send the crowd home happy, but I don't know, it was just anticlimactic and a little underwhelming in my opinion. So that was that for Clash at the Castle. Cardiff was a great place to be. Hopefully they go back there and do it again. It was a good watch. It was good energy. One of the only complaints I really got about the show, to be honest, was the terrible music. The music there was awful. But other than that, I like the graphics. I like the lighting. I like the whole concept. I thought it was really well done. But again, Triple H is not perfect, and don't let the fanboys tell you otherwise. So that's the end of the show. I appreciate anybody who's watching this. I appreciate it if you would like this video, share this video, and subscribe. And if you could, leave a comment down below. Tell me how much you liked it. Tell me how much you hated it. Tell me what I could do better. Tell me what you'd like to see from me in the future. If you have any suggestions, I'm open to hear it. But until tomorrow night for AEW's All Out 2022, I am Smoke the Conqueror. This is Dangerous Thoughts Podcast, and I thank you for watching.